I mean, I think we all know about stage fright, and I think public speaking has been like the one fear over death for decades now. I think they've been talking about that.
Is
And
that
maybe,
right?
yeah, public
Wow.
speaking.
It's so daunting. And I know I speak from, if anybody goes particularly on my Instagram, they can find some old videos. Billy, the producer here of the show, early on when we started it, I was trying to do a commercial. And I was trying to talk about who we were and what we were doing. And I had it all written out. It was all pre-done. And if you, excuse me, you asked me to do it, if I'm looking at Billy right now, if I could do it directly to him, easy. If I could just talk to you directly, easy. But the second, now as I'm talking to you, I stare at a camera. The second I had to look in that camera and I had to do something like what you're talking about, I couldn't get. I mean, we did a gag reel out of it that Billy made. That's just funny as can be, because literally I was misusing words, and you turn the camera away, and I was good to go, and you turn the camera back on me, and all of a sudden I didn't even know what to do. And I think a lot of people suffer from that. It seems like the easy answer is just to practice and get out there and do it. Is there something I'm missing there, or do you experience that with your clients, that it's easy to say and it's harder to do? Getting down and actually doing something in front of a camera.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think we all know about stage fright, and I think public speaking has been like the one fear over death for decades now. I think they've been talking about that.
Is that right?
Yeah,
Wow.
public speaking. So, but I think over time, maybe people are starting to get over that. Maybe the younger generations are just so used to it that it's not as scary. But I still feel that sense, that kind of nervousness when you're about to speak in front of a room, or it's going to be your turn next. I think it's just natural. So yes, practice does help, but not just practicing in the mirror or practicing at home. Like we talk about, a signature talk, like the thing that you're going to use all the time, and practice it at the dinner table, practice it with your friends, practice it with that person in the checkout line, that you're meeting for that first time. So there's ways to practice in different settings and in different ways with different people that I think will help, kind of get you more comfortable with it. So really it does come down to practice and just getting kind of the words out that you want to say. And oftentimes people are better at speaking. Sometimes they are better at writing and then translating it. So whatever works best for you, you can record it and then, transcribe that, or you can write it down and get it on a teleprompter or something, whatever makes sense for you. But it has to be natural. You want to try to get more comfortable at just speaking from the heart. So, however you practice it, you want to get to that point where you can just kind of go. I also had to kind of learn the whole looking into this camera instead of like looking at you on Zoom,
Yes.
And it's awkward because I feel like I'm looking not at the person I'm talking to, even though it's Zoom.
You're 2 feet above my camera. So if I were to look at you, I would be looking like this, right? So I have to stare at the camera. So exactly. Yep.
So I think that can feel awkward. We're all inclined to like now just want to look at that other person in the screen. But when you're doing something like this, I also know that I'm going to connect best with the audience and with you if I'm looking right into that camera. So we all get to be newscasters now. And I've had a couple of those folks on my podcast too. And, they're used to that and just staring right down into it. But it takes practice too. It takes, it just takes some doing to kind of get used to that. And then maybe takes the pressure off in the future.
And it is particularly for an experienced entrepreneur or business owner that's been around for a long time, and particularly if they've had some success, it's humbling. It's something that you would think is so. I mean, we talk for a living as business owners. You're constantly making sales. You're constantly dealing with employees and salespeople, and I mean, you're on the phone. All I do is talk. And then when I started this about 2.5 years ago, and you sit down in front of that mic, and even to today, I'm humbled by the impact that camera makes on me. And I find that to be the biggest impediment for me to really getting that message across. And I've seen that as I've brought people in and we've had guests and things of that nature, that boy, they're as gregarious as can be outside the door, and then you bring them into the studio and you sit down and you're trying to draw that person out of them because the lights are on you, the camera's sitting there on you, you got the mic in front of you, And it really is a mental game, isn't it, to do it right? But and to your point, it has to be an authentic experience.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that's a big key to it. But it's something that can be learned, and it's something that can be practiced. And you just have to put in a little bit of that time. And what I've seen is pretty cool is a lot of different folks, if you're able to invest in having more than one camera, maybe it just makes you feel a little more comfortable not being kind of locked in one direction and feeling like you can't really move or look around. So I know, even when some people's home studios, they've set up a few different cameras so they can have different angles, or they can feel like they can be a little more natural. And now the technology is so sophisticated. There's cameras that'll follow you, and cameras that will kind of focus in on what you want. So, technology is there to be your friend. Don't make it a scary menace. Let it help enable what brings out the best in you. And if you haven't done it though, you just got to get a little bit of time and experience, give it a shot, and don't be too critical on yourself and how it all turns out. Because none of us do this perfectly the first time out of the gate. Yep. Technology.
Always, right?